that.
I like that. We're here.
Wait for it. Can you hear me? Okay, there. I don't know what just happened. So it'll only be a matter of seconds before my mom joins. She's always the first one to
I
hop
love
in.
that.
I love it. Love that.
That's fantastic, though. That's a blessing.
Absolutely. Mom's got like this radar.
It's Diane, right?
Diane Mercer. Yep. She'll be here.
Yeah, Diane Mercer. Bringing it on.
So Mike, what did you do today while we get rolling here?
What did I do today? I prepped for, I'm supposed to preach this coming weekend. So I did a little bit of prepping for that. And then in lieu of, apparently Rylan has taught me the best way to prep for a sermon. So instead of playing Call of Duty, I played No Man's Sky. So
what's No Man's Sky? What is that?
So No Man's Sky is clearly we're talking about Logos. I don't know how we got on this, but it's basically an exploratory game where you've landed on this planet and you're trying to mine certain gems and things from the planet and craft things together and put your ship back together to fly to another place and explore another ship. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, please. I could have said something wrong there.
I just shared our video to different places, by the way, guys. But that's nuts. Is it like SimCity on steroids? Like you're building that way, or is it like what's that one game where you try to conquer the whole world?
Like really there. I mean, you can actually play it with a VR if you wanted to, which would be really crazy. Yeah,
I've played it before.
Shoot. Okay.
It's like a chemistry exploration game.
Okay.
I don't know.
That sounds less cool when you say it that way. I'm not
It's a complete waste of time, and I should have spent all of that time in Logos, but
all good. It doesn't sound like a waste of time. It sounds fun. And then what about you, Rylan? Anything fun today other than what did you do today? We talked beforehand.
I preached this morning, and we kicked off a new series called Gospel Culture. So over the last couple of months at our church, we've been going through a series called The Jesus Story and really looking at what is the gospel. And, Paul's understanding of the gospel in 1 Corinthians 15 is that it's the life of Christ and not just justification by faith. That's more of a benefit of the gospel. So, when the apostles preach, like there's 7 sermons in Acts, they didn't preach like huge altar calls. They really preached the life of Christ. And so we've just been in the life of Christ. And now, starting in January and February, we're talking about gospel culture of how do we create a gospel culture in our church of telling the story of Jesus over and over again. So I was in Galatians 4 today where Paul says, I birthed you as a church and now I'm in labor pains again, which to me means he's single because no man in his right mind would ever talk about the labor pains of a woman. But he did. He had the courage to do that because he's single and he didn't know any better. But that idea that we as Christians really want the life of Christ to be our spiritual formation. And so we talked about that. And then next week we'll be asking questions. Did Jesus preach the gospel? And then what did it look like when Paul preached it? Peter preached it. So I did that. And then I took a nap and now I'm here talking about Logos Bible software. It's
all right. Heck yeah. I just got to, I was just thinking, what did I was also listening to you, but I was wondering what did I do today? Yeah. One of those days where unpack, or I got to visit my brother in California. So he may or may not be watching. Mom, I know that you're watching. So shout out to you, but I got to visit Joshua over in California. And then today is just kind of unpacking, cleaning, and getting ready for the week ahead back at work, which is going to be great. But today we don't really have a specific topic that I threw out there aside from what have we been working on and what do we have in store for 2021. So if you're watching and you're wondering what in the world that means, today's agenda is to share the screen a little bit. We're going to walk through the new website. We're going to talk about Nick, he just said flexing on the Logos 9 mug. How'd you snag that? We have some friends in some different places. Yeah, we're going to walk through the new website, and we're going to talk about the services that we're offering going into 2021, and then a few like ideas or aspirations that we've got on our end, and then what it looks like for you to partner with us and jump on board. What do you got? What do you got, Rylan?
My Nukes. Are y'all familiar with Nukes?
What's Nukes?
It's like a deli type place. It's a chain, but I've got friends at Nukes. The thing, like, if you want this mug, you buy a meal, and then you get to take the cup home.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with this.
Exactly the same thing like that.
It's like the same thing. So, yeah, I think that's most of the agenda, I guess. Rylan, Mike, what do we have coming up that I feel like folks should know about and be a part of? We do have the workshop coming up. Is it the sermon prep on the 16th, right?
Yeah, let me pull those up. Sermon prep is on the 16th, and we're already halfway sold out.
Yeah, we are.
And so we're limiting those to 6 people. And I think what I'm leading that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in touch with those people that are a part of that to where, so yeah, it's the 16th. It's 9 a.m. Central Time. We're limiting those to 6 people a piece. I'm going to reach out to those 6 people or whoever signs up, and they're more than just Q&A. Like, I'm going to lead the discussion since we only have an hour together, but I'm going to find out the roadblocks and the snags that people are having within sermon prep and using, whether it's the tools like the new sermon builder, or how to use the actual tools in sermon. Like, you've got all these resources in Logos and don't know how to use them to put together a sermon. So I'm going to find out who's going to be there and kind of message those people to find out, hey, what do we really need to, when we say sermon prep, what are you really meaning? But we got that on the 16th. January 19th, Richard is doing one on Zoom. And I think Mike is doing one February 6th on an open.
We were just talking about that. We're getting there.
So yeah, we're going to run these every like 3 weeks, I think, where just a different topic, even though the notes is coming up like a Tuesday night, maybe. Or Tuesday morning?
Tuesday morning.
19th. So yeah, we got workshops coming up, and we've got more of those planned. They're just not on the website yet. But I'm excited about those. We did one a little bit ago. Is this what you're talking about when I can talk well on things for a long time?
That's what I said. Yeah. I mean, basically.
This is what you meant. So, but yeah, I'm just excited. I think the last one went really well. And so that's what we got going on.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into how to sign up for that. It's going to be a part of the new website, but that is just like a little note on what we have coming up. Of course, watch the groups, the Facebook groups, for community and like dialogue, and then any tips and tricks that you need. If you didn't see the free books group, that blew up with the new one, with all the new books that dropped from Faith Life, from Logos, and then from Verbum. So that was cool too. Mike, did we miss anything? Sorry, we just flew through a bunch of different things.
No, it's great. The only thing maybe I might remind, if you're a part of the Logos Daily Faith Life group, you can join us for the book that we're reading through. I've got to get caught up, but it's going to be spectacular. It's reading The Unseen Realm by Dr. Michael Heiser. So not too late. I think we just, Friday? You guys started that, kicked it off. So we're hoping to get through that in the next couple of weeks.
So yeah, let me throw up the link for that. But the book, the reading plan is done through Faith Life, and then that is over at faithlife.com/logos daily. And it looks like that there. So it's a reading plan that you can follow along, like right within Logos. If you're not familiar with that, we can, of course, just message us or whatever, and we can get you set up with that. But you'll want to follow us over on Faith Life's platform. There's actually a little bit of a discussion going on there already. I don't know if Rylan and Mike, if you guys saw that, but that was pretty cool. There was some reading, and
where was the discussion at? I didn't see it yet.
Over in Faith Life
Oh, really?
In Logos Daily's group, and then in the discussion tab, there's a question that was dropped in there. So a whole quote and paragraph from the book was dropped, and then we were just talking through a little bit of it. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty intense and really exciting book. I read through it a while ago, but if you're a fan of Ryland, I know you're a fan of like Walton. And so this is like, I feel like those two in a room together would be a lot of fun to listen to, Heiser and Walton. So,
and can I plug this if someone's not familiar with Heiser, because he's kind, to me, he's almost just in a different place than like a lot of the other theologians out there, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the subject matter that he writes. But Michael Bird, who just came out with his second version of the Evangelical Theology, retweeted, or he's read Angels, which Michael Heisner came out with, and said it was a great read. And so for someone like Michael Bird to pump up Heisner's book, I thought was a solid move, a good thing.
Yeah, that's solid. Cool. So there's that link again. We do have a reading group going right now. So if there's nothing else, again, I feel like this evening or this afternoon, evening, depending on where you're at, will be pretty short and sweet. But I just want to walk through the website and then talk about like the vision and direction of where we're headed with things. Whoops, I just popped the same thing up. So reading group, there it is again.
No big deal.
What's up?
A game.
So, all right.
Do you know how many mistakes I made last week?
You don't make mistakes.
I did last week when you weren't here.
I was watching, Ryland. I know. So, let's see if I can make this full screen somehow. It looks pretty full screen enough, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, are you able to see? It looks like, are you able to see? I'm getting to the home page there. So part of the change in vision, and then Mike and Ryland, you guys have been a part of this whole conversation. So I'm actually going to hop over to the website on my end. So if you see any questions or anything pop in a chat, or if you want to stop me, just interrupt me. That's totally fine, guys. But the change in direction is I can jump over to this real quick. So Brave Daily was once a website called Brave Reviews, and Brave Reviews was that idea that Ryland, was it David, Ryland, Richard, you guys kind of like jokingly shared about the last time I saw a live stream, was that it's the idea of just being brave every single day, which includes being in the Word, which includes leading other people, which also includes overcoming some really difficult things that it means to be included in walking Christian life, right? And so the idea is you're reading books and you're reading scripture, and there was hope of a community of some kind in order to encourage one another on. And so Brave Daily came out of this book review website that was called Brave Reviews, and we were always focused on literature or like resources for the Christian walk. But now, more than ever, we are leaning into Logos Bible software. And I think the biggest thing is because of the giant need. Not only is the platform sick or like it's great to work with, but there's a community of people out there who have kind of gathered together over on Facebook in one of my groups. Logos Bible software. Looks like I'm getting reverb. The giant need, not only sick or like it's great to work with. You guys hear that? There's a community of people out there who have kind of No, you're good. Okay, so there's a community of people on Facebook who have come together, and I think there's like almost 20,000 people across 3 different groups now, members in these 3 different Facebook groups who are encouraging one another, like much like what I envisioned like a while ago with Brave Daily. But these guys, Ryland and Mike, Richard, David, and then a handful of others who are coaches on the team, see an obvious need to equip people to use Logos Bible software, especially in this world where so much is going online. And so with that shift, we want to keep the daily, what it means to walk daily with the Lord and be in resources and scripture together, but we're just focusing on Logos Bible software. And so the new website is going to be at it is at logosdaily.com right now, logos-daily. And it would be smart if I could throw, Ryland, are you able to throw the URL up or no?
Nope, just you.
Okay, I'm on it. But Ryland, while I'm doing that, can you walk through the 3 different services that we will be offering?
Yeah. So, and I would even say so we offer 3 services that are kind of a cost tier type thing, but I also don't want to underestimate the value, like you said, of our Facebook groups. So they can't see any of it. Oh, okay. I gotcha. We have an amazing Facebook community and tips and tricks. we are blown away. I'm blown away by how many people are getting involved in the reading group that's going on. That's just absolutely incredible.
Thanks,
but we offer 3 different tiers of stuff. The first tier is our we'll start with the courses. We'll go, I guess, right to left. Do you want to start with coaching?
No, courses. Go ahead.
So we offer courses, which are, I don't know the right word, but they are, where do you go to get information about, you want to pull up the courses link?
Got it.
Once they're fully live, and one of them is live right now, our basic one. I am done recording our advanced one, which is 2.5 hours. There you go. So the first one is about like 50 minutes, maybe an hour, and basics. And we're going to put up there pretty soon what's in those courses. But the basic course of $10 is really someone who's brand new to the Bible software, and it's about library management and the top tier stuff of your toolbar, the Go box, prioritization of resources, and it's about 45 minutes worth of content. The advanced class, hopefully tonight I'll have that up. It's about halfway loaded up. It's 2.5 hours, and it's a little bit deeper. So what we've done in that course is we've taken a passage, and I kind of worked through that passage in a broad way, because I mean, we could spend 8 hours on I spend 20 hours on sermon prep a week going through a passage. So, but it gets you more of the tools. So it gets you some of the tips when it comes to text comparison, how to really use the fact book, how to begin thinking about note strategy when you're studying a passage, how just to walk through a passage and the differences between like the passage guide, the exegetical guide, how to change up the resources in those. So if you're not, you might open up the passage guide. You don't need all of those features. I think in each of those, I picked 5 kind of features out, like the word by word section, important word section, how those guides interact with one another. We talk about searching by sense. So I love the sense lexicon in the that you're able to not search just words in the Bible, but actually the sense of words throughout the Bible. So that's a fantastic tool when you're trying to think of something like atonement or redemption. The lexicon is going to give you information on how to do searching by the sense of a word. So that's really what we're doing in the advanced. And then the specialized, we're still talking and going to be plugging that pretty soon. We're going to have, once the courses are fully on board, like Logos updates every 2 weeks. I want to have something on there. If you buy it, you're going to have access to every feature that comes out. We'll put a video up so you can know when they release 9.2.368, whatever they have, then you'll have the new one. So, but yeah, advanced should be live tomorrow once Jason checks it out and makes sure it's the graphic and there's no my famous misspellings or typos, and makes it look okay. But that's really for, and I think Jason had said if you buy one, you get both. So like if you buy $5, you'll get the $10 included. So, but yeah, these are it's not, there are other opportunities for stuff out there, but for this kind of training, but this is kind of our lowest level of training. We love at Logos Daily, what we love is the interaction. So we're going to have some of this stuff, but that's not really going to be our priority, is getting courses out, even though we're going to do some of that. But we don't feel like that really fills a niche in the market.
Right.
I feel like it's important to have some of it, because if you're like me, sometimes I just want to watch the video real quick and get my answer instead of having to deal with someone else. So, but yeah, did that answer all those questions?
Yeah, that's solid. So
Jason, can I just say that whoever built this website, man, this looks so good. I mean, it's do you know who built this, Jason?
No, I woke up one day and I was like, man, a new website might be the thing we need for these different, this new vision that we have. And then I just went to this URL and it was all there at logos-daily.com, and it was just there. And I thought that's exactly what we need.
Jason has spent hours on this website.
I thought you were going to say this is the most recent miracle that happened,
It was a miracle.
It just happened. No, dude, super proud of you and appreciate all the hard work that you put into building this website and all the ins and outs. So thank you, Jason.
Yeah, of course. So then the other thing that we'll be focusing on as a team in order to equip you guys with a Logos platform is just the workshops. And so we started talking about this earlier in the call. And I am going to throw up a discount, of course. If you go to logos-daily.com and you are poking around the website and you see the workshops page, we've got upcoming workshops, right? So this is 6 people in a group and usually focus on one specific topic. And so a few of them that we have coming up are sermon prep, January 16th, a notes workshop, and then Q&A. And so something else to notice here, and some lots of questions, which is exciting. People are browsing and checking it out and messaging us, but these times are your own time zone. And so I'm in Eastern time zone right now, and the times are reflective of where I'm at right now, and they should be reflective of where you're at. But the different workshops that we have are just going to be you sitting down with one of the coaches or a couple of the coaches. Even if we get excited and just want to hop on the call, then that happens. It's no big deal. But then we walk through a topic and make sure that we have time for Q&A at the end of it as well. And then something new that we've found out through a couple of the calls that we had is the need for recorded workshop videos and then suggested resources at the end of the call. And so we want you to be able to go back and maybe just see what we referenced, but then kick over any resources we think might be helpful for you and for your library. What's cool about this side of stuff, of the training, instead of the courses or some other training that you may be familiar with, is that this is personalized to your own library. And so you're pulling up your screen and you're working through your own library while we're working through a specific topic with you. So yeah, so Mike or Rylan, is there anything I'm missing on the workshop side of thing that'd be helpful?
I mean, the only thing that I would say is I sure wish that there was something like this when I first got started 3 or 4 years ago. The closest I got to something like a workshop was a monthly kind of webinar where I watched someone live go through kind of an outline, and that was great. I learned a lot, but this is much more interactive. This is you bringing your stuff to the table and saying, hey, how do I use it? What do I need to do? It's much more interactive. And I promise you that your capacity for retaining the information will go through the roof, being able to kind of be engaged and actually interacting rather than.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks, man. Mike, do you feel if we jumped into coaching and what we've got here, do you feel good about throwing it out there and walking people through it?
I don't know. You're just throwing me in the room and letting me battle it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so again, this is probably our kind of our niche. By the way, is it niche or niche?
I don't know.
It's kind of like I keep hearing Jason say logos, and I keep saying logos. I don't know what it is.
Because it sounds like you've had Greek, Mike.
Where's that pronunciation button? Do you put one of those on the website?
Can I throw two things? First is Scott Lindsay went back and forth the whole call. Right. I'm just going to throw that out there. Logos and logos. No big deal. But the other thing is, once you have a degree, a master's degree, you say it and you move on, and everyone goes, oh, that must be the right way to do it. So niche or niche? What is it? Is that pretty much it?
I want to say one thing too. If someone mispronounces a word, it means they probably read it, and we never make fun of someone who's reading. And we're just thankful someone's using the software and trying. So it's a friendly debate on how to pronounce the word that I don't think will ever be, and that's okay. We all have fun with that.
I think it's actually niche, but
he's like,
I'll just switch it back and forth so that people don't feel, they don't feel left out.
Rylan said it's a friendly conversation, a friendly debate, and Mike goes, no, I think it's niche.
See what I mean?
You're trying to be all like, Rylan's trying to be all pastoral and friendly, and I'm just like, no, man, no. This
Mike, how can you be so wrong about so little?
That's a great question. You should ask my wife that. I don't.
right. So what's the coaching do?
All right. So coaching one-on-one, this is really kind of our top tier process. It's kind of what we're best known for. And this is going to be where you get to be involved one-on-one with one of our coaches. How many coaches do we have now, Jason?
I think we have 8.
8 coaches.
Yeah.
They're all experts in their own niche of Logos. You like that? How I just added that in?
Yeah, it's solid.
And really, this is an opportunity where if you've got, if you've got 4, 5, 6 things in Logos that you're not sure what you're doing, why you're doing it, like you pull that information together, send it over to your coach that you're going to be spending time with. They're going to be prepped, ready, and it's going to be high level, an hour of you sharing your screen, walking through your items one-on-one, where you get to utilize that coach exactly the way you want to utilize them. So you get to use them, abuse them, and then toss them to the curb. No, not really. Don't do that. This is the best. This is the top tier, and every single one that I've had, and Ryland, you guys can speak to yours. They've been very productive. They've been very helpful. And people that I've worked with have always walked away with kind of feeling like they spent the time. It was worthwhile doing it. So what do you guys think about this particular tier of one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, I think it's, so I've done this lots of times now which is I wonder what that in the Bible numeric, the tool on what lots is. Like, is it one bus or a whale or a bag of coffee? When you
how many whales?
Yeah,
how many whales have you done this?
But I've done this enough. That's probably my favorite thing that I get to do is sit down with someone and hear how they're using the software. Because I think all the coaches would say none of us feel like we're professionals. We're still learning. Like we talk amongst ourselves almost every day about something we're discovering in Logos. But to see, like, I love for people to have those aha moments of like they bought the software and it's not cheap. It's not inexpensive is a better word. It's not inexpensive to get into, but then it to come alive of, oh, you can go through this many resources, or just like the Bible word study or something they've always missed. Like you have your Bible open and you didn't know you could go back and forth like in a browser, or it'll keep your search history. Just simple things like that if you don't know, you don't know. And I think what people do, like those who have used it for years and have used it as an e-reader, can be absolutely, which is fine to do because you're reading books, but to understand the capacity that you're able to have, it's just those aha moments of, I had no idea it could do that, because they're usually sold on like a 15-minute presentation, and then they forget, like they don't even know what they need to search. And that's not a slight on anybody. It's just so overwhelming. Like, how do you even begin to know what to search when you're looking at a passage or a topic? And so just to sit down with people, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. We should pull someone on here. Like, I think we've done that once, but we should pull a few people on here that we've done some coaching calls with and just kind of let them share, because I think that's, I don't know, that would kind of speak for itself too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I thought I heard one of the testimonials was like, it just completely flipped the way that they use it, so much so it's like it even improved the time that they spend in the Word for their own personal, like spiritual walk, which is cool. Instead of just being like, hey, now I can like save an hour a week. They're actually excited to like be in the Word more. Yeah,
I would say if it's saving you time, like if you're just able to study better, but not necessarily use it less, which I know is not what you were saying. But mm-hmm. Like, I want someone to walk away thinking, oh, I can study the Bible more. Like, I'm into it more now when I study because of the software versus, oh, it's saving me a bunch of time. It's like, oh, I can go through 90 resources. I can go through individual words, and all that information is just boom right there.
Right. Cool. So that's kind of the flyover of the website, unless you guys think I missed anything. That's the main new direction that we're going with the new services, right? And then you've got a whole resources hub that we're going to build out, which is taking YouTube videos or taking our podcasts and making it available on our website. All of that, I just scrolled to the bottom real fast. All of that is still going to be available, right? If you want to hop over and like dig in and watch or learn or be a part of the community that way. But we'd like to put it on the website as well to make it available for you. If you have questions about what it means to be in these different coaching calls or in the workshops, we try to make FAQs available there. And then, of course, like right now, I've got my mug right here as chat, but that goes to a couple people on the team. If you ever have questions or you want to reach out about anything that's on our website, then you can contact us that way, or email us also. So you got email or contact options throughout if you have any questions that you'd like to reach out to us about that. So I just thought like that would be the main focus. I know we do have a question or two here. I have to thanks so much, Rick. I do want I think Rick was the one who asked a question a little bit earlier, and then if there's any other questions that we can address, we can transition from the website to anything else that someone would like to discuss. But that's it. That's the main focus for this evening.
Can I share who we have coming up on the podcast interview? We need a name for it because this month I'm so excited about who we've got. They're all almost all of them are recorded except one. But this week on Thursday, it's going to be released both on our podcast and our Logos Daily page. Had an interview with Mark Ward, who is the editor of the Bible Study magazine and wrote The Use and Misuse of the King James Version. Wrote a book. I mean, he's got a podcast, which its name slips me at the moment, but I'll have all that information. But fantastic, brilliant guy. Was able to interview him. That comes out this Thursday. Next week, Matthew Bates, great guy up at Quincy. I think associate professor of theology, written a book called Gospel Allegiance and Salvation, Allegiance as Salvation. Oh, I'm going to mess up the name of the book. But his book was in my number1 book for the year, the Salvation as Allegiance book. So Matthew Bates is going to be on the 14th. On the 21st, Chauncey Allman from Faith Life with the new Caruso project is coming out, and I had the opportunity to ask him some deep questions because they got a little pushback about this new Caruso initiative and packages with designed toward the black church and black people. It's very different. So I was able to, Bible Study Magazine podcast is my Mark Ward. But I was able to ask him some of those difficult questions of why would Faith Life want to do that? Like, why is there not like an Asian package and a white person package and all those things? And he got into it. Like, it was a really good thing. So if anybody's a little bit on edge about the Caruso initiative, you're going to want to check that on the 21st. And then tomorrow morning, I'm interviewing a lady by the name of Dr. Madison Pierce. And she is doing phenomenal work. She's a scholar doing phenomenal work in the book of Hebrews. I'm reading her dissertation right now. And so very, very excited about her. Going to talk about her work in the book of Hebrews. So everything's going to come out on Thursday. So check out our podcast and our website, or podcast and YouTube for the interview, or the Facebook page. So I'm excited about those.
Cool. Thanks, Rylan. And then I pulled up the page and I'm letting it hang out there for a second because all that's available through the website. You could check it out there in the footer. But all of that is available through the website. So I think that's it. And then I was going to pop up to the top here, and Rick had a question. Is that right? Rylan, use the sermon creator or the passage guide for sermon prep.
Yeah, and I'd be interested in hearing how you all do, because for me, it's like Bible study and sermon prep go kind of hand in hand. But I use a custom guide that I created that takes parts of the exegetical guide, the passage guide, and then a bunch of collections. So I've got commentaries kind of laid out in ways that I want to look at them. I've got collections for authors that I like N.T. Wright. You had mentioned John Walton. I use one of the things that I think every preacher, if they're able to be able to read other preachers' sermons, and not so much, I don't copy those, but it's so helpful for illustrations because commentaries are so often dealing with the text, but then to hear other preachers like tell a story, well, as long as I'm not, what's the word when you steal someone else's information and you're not supposed to do it? Yeah, plagiarism. I don't think plagiarism is good, but man, those stories are great to do it with. No, you don't want to plagiarize. But you do, I do get illustrations from other people's sermons, and I'm able to say, hey, this came from so-and-so, or if it's kind of a generic story, then I can just tell it. I love the sermon packages, the sermon archives. I think I've got almost every one, but I don't think plagiarism. And so, Mike, I mean, how do you? So that's how I use it, as a custom guide. I use that more than the passage guide or exegetical guide or even the sermon starter guide. I take all those things in a custom guide is where I get it. But how do you study the Word? You said you're preaching this coming Sunday or the coming weekend.
I just find a really good pastor like Ryland Brown, and I steal it from him is what I do.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned the name at the beginning, and then it doesn't matter because I just gave credit like right at the beginning, right? No, right. Totally.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, for me, so I do have my passage guide that is actually from the Logos kind of platform. I actually just edited that one so that every time I use the passage guide, it's my own, custom. I've got some other ones that have been built out, but most of the guide related reconstruction is done from very specific collections. I know there's been debates on whether or not tagging or collections are better or worse. I like them both, and I use them both for different purposes and different reasons. But the collections help me to be able to drill down into specific areas, specific categories that I want to search from that particular passage. In fact, you were talking about illustrations. So I've got, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 collections just around illustrations. Things like sermon illustrations, things like quotes, and things like magazine illustration, images, devotionals, hymn, lyrics, music. All of those can be different sections of illustrations. And of course, when you're building out your sermon, you want to be able to go to places in your library that have very specific things. And so that's how I utilize those collections inside of the passage guide. One of the things I do, and I'm not as active of a sermon writer, I do probably maybe a 10 to 12 a year because I'm just kind of one of the elders at our church, and I do it when it's needed. But I think it's wise to have a notebook set up for your sermon prep. And so that when you're reading through resources, when you're going through your passage guide and you're taking notes, make sure that those notes go into your sermon prep notebook, because when you go to your sermon editor to create your sermon, you're going to be able to use that particular notebook to immediately insert those into your sermon. So again, you could just have an expensive piece of software to read books from, but that's why we tell you to go to the workshops. It's why we tell you to go to the one-on-one coaching to learn how to use different kind of parts of the software to specialize and to save time and to be able to use it properly. So I don't know. That's what I do. And then I, of course, plagiarize, like I said at the beginning. So, but I give credit to Ryland for that. It's all his. Yeah.
Stop. So I'll just throw that up there one more time because Ryland does not think plagiarism is good.
Listen, I'm going to make a hard stance. Sometimes you just gotta, when no one's going to tell the truth. Plagiarism's not good, guys.
Hey, Ryland, can you show me where in the Bible it talks about that? I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. Just kidding.
Stealing the commandments when Moses received the law. That comes to mind.
I thought Moses took that from God, right?
And then he threw it down.
Man, Ryland, you've been so easy to talk to about all kinds of topics, but now once we get to plagiarism, it's a trigger.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. I mean, short and sweet today. Solid conversation. I'm glad we walked through the website, got to share a little bit of the vision. Again, there's so much happening. I'd say to check out the website. I would say to follow us on social media, of course, but check out the website while you can to learn more about what we've got coming up. And then reach out if you have any questions or just want to talk through software a little bit with us. So, guys, am I missing anything? Boom. Boom. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Lots of good engagement. Really appreciate everybody who's watching. You're amazing. Keep using the software and reach out if you need anything at all. Have a good night.